This is Jim Fetzer, your host on The Dynamic Duo with Kevin Barrett. Well, you can catch the Boy Wonder here on Mondays and Fridays, and I'm here Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. My special guest today finds himself in what I take to be a relatively unique situation. It's related to 9/11. I only know of his plight by virtue of his having called in on previous programs. He's in a kind of limbo in Montreal. His name is Carl, and I want to welcome him to the Dynamic Duo. Carl, welcome to the show.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, very well. Very well.
They were serving supper here late, so that's why I told you I'd be calling in a little bit late.
That's no problem. That's no problem. I had much to talk about. Now, Carl, let's back up. Why don't you begin by telling us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, where you went to school, how you got involved or interested in 9/11, those sorts of things before we get right to how you found yourself in this particular ticklish dilemma.
Okay, well, I'm from the U.S. I've lived in several different states growing up. I grew up mostly in the state of Florida. I had also lived with family and friends in the states of Maine and the states of Virginia, or the Commonwealth of Virginia, for many years. I lived in Maine for a short time in the 1990s. I also stayed in New Brunswick, in Canada, like 93, parts of 93, 94, and 95, but most of my years was spent in Florida. I went to school in Florida and as well went to school in Virginia, and I finally left Florida permanently at the end of 1998.
Where were you living in Florida?
The Palm Beach area, my family there in the Lake Clark Shores, Ocean Ridge, West Palm Beach, Lake Worth, and
that's down in this
Palm Beach County.
The Atlantic coast in southeastern Florida.
Yes.
Okay. I lived for 5 years on the golf course in Sarasota.
Okay. I had been to Sarasota. I had friends in Tampa. And I had an uncle in Naples in Collier County. I have been to Sarasota and Port Charlotte area. I've been through there just to visit and stuff. I have a friend who lives there now. He was one of my roommates in Virginia, and his mother lived in the Sarasota area, Bradenton. And I haven't been down there since December 98. That's when I left Florida and went to Virginia to reside until most recently when I came here to Canada last year.
And where have you gone to school, Carl?
I went to school. You mean high school?
Whatever you may have done.
Well, I took some college courses at NOVA, Northern Virginia Community College as well. I took some flight training. I went to school. I took some, I didn't go to an aviation school. I went to one of the local, basically schools of ground school and took some flying lessons while living in Florida. That was an interest of mine growing up, was become a pilot, but I gave up flying. I had taken lessons in Lantana, Florida for over a period of several years. I was a regular attendee of Kemper Aviation, which is near where I lived in Florida. I also took some training in computer field.
But you're not, you wouldn't describe yourself as a scholar or a author or a publisher or what have you.
Well, I've done a lot of writing. I was, before blogging became, mainstream, everything, I did a lot of writing, and I posted stuff on different sites on the internet and stuff. I did a lot of writing, and I had interest in religious history. There was some interest, and I was considering writing a book. I had put together some material. I had researched, but I never published anything.
The writing you're talking about is opinion pieces on blog sites.
Yes.
And what were they mostly concerned with? I mean, how'd you get drawn toward 9/11?
Well, growing up, I had done a lot of studying of the Bible and stuff. I disagreed with official church teachings as well as the mainstream Christianity.
The official church, you mean the Catholic Church?
The Catholic and the Protestant, Eastern Orthodox, basically the whole system of Christianity as we know it today. I started studying the Bible and reading other people's views and started doing my own studying, and I started growing up believing that America was the beast of Revelation 13, 11, and 12. I also read books on the Lusitania and other, attacks that have happened throughout the years, which are very suspicious, which showed America's foreknowledge of. And I was one of those that disagreed with the official Oklahoma City story.
Did that include Remember the Maine, and when the battleship Maine blew up in
1890? Yeah, when they blew up the Maine.
Lusitania, as you say, and
World War I. And I grew
Pearl
up.
Harbor. Were you then interested in Pearl Harbor too?
I had come across some stuff on Pearl Harbor. I had read the book The Unseen Hand, I believe, and some other books I had read about the New World Order. And growing up before 9/11, I always suspected, that our government had been involved in basically these events, and have been, different officials have been lying to us. And I believe that America, in regards to my religious views, was, pushing for world domination, that it was, consistent throughout history, where different empires have basically conquered the world of their day or sought world domination. And I believe it fitted into the patterns, going in with Bible history as well as prophecy, that this would eventually come about, either people unknowingly fulfilling what has been written, or people who intentionally try to fulfill their own interpretations of the Bible, and those in power seek world domination. And I basically believe along those lines growing up that, we should always question what we're told, because of those forces that are behind the scenes, these wicked forces that I, believe that are also manipulating our political powers, that, the stuff that's going on right now.
So you're talking about religious beliefs that are rooted in the Bible, a kind of a version of fundamentalism of your own devising, in terms of it's reflective of your own thoughts and reasoning about these matters.
Yeah, so my eyes have been pretty much always open, and I never really had accepted anything that's been, promoted as official truth throughout history, because I always believed that there are these forces that are under the control of Prince of Darkness that basically are behind these world events. So like an unseen hand, like the title of the book, there is an unseen hand moving these people, and these people are basically deceiving others, have an issue, basically they want to achieve world domination, but they're the forces, the unseen forces behind them too, and it's all tied together into the bigger picture.
So what got you involved in 9/11? Where were you living when it happened?
Well, at the time I was incarcerated in Virginia when it happened, in Alexandria, because of it started off with unrelated charges. Get into how my case started off. It started off with accusations related to a domestic dispute that I had with this woman I got involved with by mistake. And
so you were living together and you had altercations, some differences, and she called the police on you or something like that?
Yeah, in 1998 this started. And then that basically how I got into the situation today, and then the feds took the state charges and then they mixed it in with the federal accusations.
Have you been basically under some kind of arrest since 1998?
Basically, starting in December 98, this all started.
Oh, Carl,
basically, most of the time, off and on, I have, been incarcerated or waiting.
I'm so sorry to hear this. Stand by. We'll be right back with my special guest, Carl from Montreal. This is Jim Fetzer, your host on the Dynamic Duo.